Happy Saturday night. We're back on a Saturday. What do you know? All right, so let's see if I can get some screen time. We'll watch this thing tick along as per normal. We'll wait for the tape delay so the overlords can censor us, and we'll go from there. So let's wait and wait and wait. 25 seconds. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Okay, still waiting. Still waiting. 35. Here we come. All right, I'm there. What do you know? Ta-da. Happy Saturday, gang. All right, we are back on a Saturday, which is nice. Of course, last week I was up in Michigan at this point. But we are here. Hope everybody had a good day. We see 5x5s coming across like crazy, so we're good there. Chat is moving quickly. I kind of figured it might be. But yeah, so been busy around here the last couple of days. I picked up a couple of new toys, if you will. The kind that go pew pew. More than, you can only use so many at one time. But my theory on this one was I got one hell of a deal, like 50% off. If anybody's interested, shoot me an email because we can't talk about that on YouTube anymore. If you kind of get an idea, the civilian model of the U.S. military weapon type deal, that sort of stuff. $400, including a red dot. Good deal. But the reason I did that is kind of what I was talking about at lunch today, is because we're going to get inevitably people that are going to come in that you're going to need in your group. And they may not have any resources to bring with them. And at that point, that's not really helpful. So, not that I mind having a few extra around, but I've also got backups in case there's somebody else that needs one, because the more you got, the better you are. Okay. It's kind of like the old question on ammo. What's the minimum you need? We talked about that a few weeks ago. What's the maximum you need? More. That's it. You can't have enough. Other than that, it's hell-bent for leather on picking tomatoes here. I probably picked 15 pounds of tomatoes today, so Mrs. P and I will be making tomato sauce probably tomorrow. Bunch more corn, so that all got processed and frozen this afternoon, so that was it. So we should be good there. I'm going to be planting field corn next year because I've got so much sweet corn in the freezer, it's crazy. But I figure field corn, I can make some cornmeal, and so that's the plan for next year. But again, like I've said many times, looking at what you've got and rotating your crops, not just by location, but by what you're planting, going, I've got so many potatoes, I don't need them this year. I can plant something else and stock up on that. So that's kind of what we've been working on here. Security, food, the important stuff. Because who knows what 90 days from now brings. I mean, you hear, it's funny listening to the polls and stuff. Kamala Harris is winning everywhere. And then you get the other one saying, Trump is up by 5 points. It's like, okay, so nobody has a clue. But the interesting stuff, here's still the big bet. Does Tim Walz come out of the Democrat convention still as the VP candidate? Because every day more crap comes out about him and his stolen valor and his corruption and ties to China and, yada, yada, yada. So who knows when they throw him out. Eventually they'll probably find a candidate. It might be November 4th, but, they might finally have somebody they're going to run. But the fun stuff was Kamala Harris's Vegas rally today. Now, I've been in the Vegas stadium. Okay. We lived out there, go see some Golden Knights games. If she filled a third of that stadium today, I'd be shocked. Because there wasn't any concert to go to. And it's not like she's a real exciting candidate. She's got the personality of, warm jello. But we'll see what happens with the tomorrow when the AI comes out, because that was so interesting. That picture in front of Air Force Two the other day has now been totally debunked. There's photographs all over the place where you can see the reflection from the body of the plane and from the engine, that the reflection doesn't show anybody there yet. There's supposedly this massive crowd in front of her. So it's kind of funny. They're between all we're paying people to show up and the AI generated crowds. Yeah, there's enthusiasm for her is in the media. That's it. And so I'm waiting to see what happens, because at this point, nobody believes polls anyway. I mean, come on, Hillary Clinton had a 99% chance to win. Look how that worked. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the only time she ever saw the White House was as the first tramp. Yeah. So not putting a whole lot into it. I'm waiting to see what happens. It's like the one thing that drives me nuts is seeing people busting each other's chops who are both on the same side, because, they're not doing this or they're not doing that or whatever. And that doesn't, we're all on the same side. We got an enemy to fight. I mean, a true enemy. Liberalism is an enemy, guys. It's a sworn enemy to this country. And we don't need to be having infighting amongst those of us that are trying to save this country. We need to be fighting against the people that are trying to destroy it. It's kind of like you look at what happened in Britain, and I'll give you this. It was a month ago. That was it, guys. In Great Britain, that Labour, the Liberal Party in Britain, basically took over Parliament. In a month, they have turned that country from a free state to a communist state. When they are letting rapists out, I didn't know that it was illegal to rape a 13-year-old. Oh, okay, you're let free. This actually happened, guys. This is this week. Okay, so they let the guy free. But somebody posts something on Twitter or on Facebook, and they get 2 to 3 years in jail. Okay, this is it. Say something against the machine, and you're going to jail. That's what's coming here under Kamala Harris. I kid you not. Say something negative about her or about her administration, there will be black SUVs pulling up in your driveway. Okay, that's what's coming. And I'm not trying to fearmonger or anything like that. This is part of the reason why I picked up some more toys. Just saying, that's coming. I feel it in my gut. So, all right, enough of me pontificating. I figure you guys will come up with enough questions tonight to get into more of that. But let's get into the start here. If you guys watched this afternoon's video, Elliot's got a hell of a deal on the Delta 3, plus an extra battery, plus a 400-watt portable solar panel, selling for $47.99, which when he sent it to me, I'm like, but you're selling the generator and the battery itself for $49.99. So I said, are you telling me we're getting $200 off of the extra battery and a free solar panel? He's go, that's exactly what we're doing. Okay. So if you're looking at building a system, which I know some of you are, because I spoke with Jason from Solar One USA today, and he was out at one of y'all's houses today doing their install. If you're looking for something like that, there you go. Then you start with some savings, which is a good thing. So in regards to the drawing tonight, we are giving away a Delta 2, which is the smaller one. It's not the whole big thing, but that's what Elliot's giving away for this. It's just a promotion. This isn't a whole review and everything, obviously. But we're giving away a Delta 2 for this one. So in order to have entered for this, you must have made a comment below this afternoon's video. lunchtime video with the state in which you lived in, which was, of course, the lower 48, and a word in there, the letter J has to appear in your comment somewhere. Okay, that's the way the entries are going to be valid. As per normal, you will have 3 minutes once we draw the name to announce your presence. Okay? And I will say this for the millionth time. Once me and all the mods say no more comments, that gets you tossed. Okay, that's it. You're gone for a week. End of story. I don't think it should come as any surprise to anybody we do this anymore. I've been doing this for over a year. Okay, it's just to make life easier for me to find that one person. Chris, thank you for the super chat. No, I'm not answering that question. Smartass. I am not Dr. Ruth, so that's not going to happen. Chris, or Robert, you could have left this comment up there. It was funny. Come on. I don't know if I can undelete that. I thought it was funny. So, I don't know if I can. It doesn't look like it was. Guys, it wasn't rude. Okay. But that was snarky and funny. I get it. So, okay. So let's get over to this because that completely threw me off there. And then having to deal with why that comment was blocked, I have no clue. So, all right, let's flip this thing over and get into it. So, all right, there we go. All right, random comment picker. You guys have all seen this. There is the link to this afternoon's video. Let us see what we got. So, we do not include replies. It is only primary comments. You guys know that. We do not allow duplicates. Everybody gets one entry. And here we go. Let's see how many people are entered in this. Somebody just asked, where's the info for the sale? Go under this afternoon or the lunchtime video today. In the description of the video is the link to the discounted price there. So you can go right into the video. It's right there. Or into the description of the lunch video today. It's the most recent video. So, all right, where are we? We're 1750 and climbing. All right. See, I didn't even see how many. Well, we got 2,630 people here. Okay, so we came a little bit short. There was a great comment that was made by, I think it was Benny Johnson, if you guys watch his YouTube channel. He's the #1 news channel on YouTube. And he was talking about for watching live streams. And he put something up yesterday with the promos. There are sometimes on this live stream, we have more people here than CBS News and NBC News gets on their news broadcasts here on this channel. They were like 3,100 and 3,300 or something like that would people be watching their news broadcast on YouTube. I was like, okay, that's pretty good. You know, if I can beat CBS and NBC occasionally, I'll take it. All right, 2,452 comments. God knows how many of those are valid, but let's pick ourselves a winner. And we have GL779. Good afternoon from Virginia. That is one part. Thank you, Pinball and Elliot. Only Jesus can save us, but we do need to prepare spiritually, mentally, and physically. That would be a valid entry. So GL779, let's get you over here. And no comments, guys. All right, so let nobody else be commenting. GL779, you have till 9:16. 9:17, I'm sorry, it just flipped. GL779, we need to see you. You have till 9:17. You are here. Congratulations. What do you know? We actually found one on the first time today. That makes life easy. Good. We can actually get on with the show. All right, so GL779, what I need you to do is email me your name, your physical mailing address, because everything comes FedEx, so no post office box, and your phone number. I need all three, okay? I will get those over to Elliot. He will get this shipped out. Usually they get stuff shipped out middle of the week. So coming FedEx, probably Friday, Saturday, by this time next week, you should have a Delta 2 sitting in your living room. So congratulations. My email is in the description. It is pinballpreparedness@mail2world.com. So, all right, congratulations on that. It was a quick one. What do we have? We had one a couple of weeks ago. We had to pick like 10 people to give away 5 prizes. It was insane. I'm like, is this ever going to end? So, all right, let me get up to, well, we probably don't have much at the top because it was all me just running my mouth. So, and then there's all the congratulations. So let's get past the congratulations and see what's on y'all's mind. Stephanie and Chris P., what does your shirt say? It says, white, straight, conservative Christian. How else may I offend you today? So, yes, one of my favorite shirts. It doesn't have that much effect in Tennessee, but I'd love to walk around London wearing this. All right, let's see. I got to remove all this so we can see. Okay, definitely P, what are my fall crops? We are still growing peppers, obviously, because peppers won't come in here. I mean, they're just starting. I mean, I've got like my lunchbox peppers. They have peppers on them, but they're all green. I need to wait for them to get yellow, red, and orange, so they're sweet. Tomatoes should be done. Beans are still producing, so those will go through. But cabbage and beets will be what's going to get planted here, and I will start my seeds on those sometime this week. So should hopefully get those in the ground by around 1st of September. So thereabouts, maybe the first week of September. My climate, different for other people. Okay, I've still got warm weather, warm enough for cabbage and beets until around Thanksgiving. So just saying, and I'm looking at planting stuff that has a days to maturity at somewhere around 70 days. Okay. PJO2179, read any good books lately? I am slowly making my way through the last book. What is it? 5 years after? I'm about a third of the way through the book. But y'all know this time of year with gardens and stuff like that, there's not a whole lot of time to sit down and read a book. And I'm not one of those people that can read 2 pages. Okay. I want to go through 8 or 10 chapters, something like that. So, I mean, I'll sit down and read for a couple hours. But on a couple of rainy days, I've sat and read the book. That was it. Dan Rose, Mr. Pinball, have you ever watched the John Adams miniseries or the TV show Jericho? Neither one. I don't watch television. We haven't had TV in the house at least 3 years. And on the very, very off occasion that Mrs. P says there's a decent movie to watch, we will do that. I don't have Hulu. I don't have anything. I mean, we've got Amazon Prime for the shipping, not for watching TV, because that's all crap anyway. I couldn't tell you what TV shows are on TV. So, Bucky Doodoo, oh my God, I'm so offended. Oh, well, and I know you're saying that sarcastically. Let's see. The Scratch Shack. What could be eating my bush bean plants? Eating them all the way to the stem pretty much overnight. That's an animal. I mean, that could be anything from, if I had a guess, I'd say you've got deer. That would be the best guess coming in, because I'm figuring you don't have 3 or 4 plants. You've got something big that's coming in, taking that. That's definitely an animal. That's not bugs. If they're eating them all the way down to the stem, because the bugs that eat the leaves, the animals are going to eat the stems too. Raven Wolf, what do I know about Dr. Fred Bell? Absolutely nothing. I've never heard of him. Original One Shot, One Kill. What do you think will happen during the DNC? Will we see a lot of violence and riots? That's going to be interesting. Are we going to be reminiscent of 1968 in Chicago? Now, from what I've heard, the pro-Palestinian groups have been granted permits by the city to protest at the DNC, but the pro-Israeli groups have not. That's still under consideration. Then what you have is how much do the people of Chicago protest? And I don't, and maybe somebody in Chicago knows, I don't know where the convention is being held, if it's being held at the United Center, if it's being held at McCormick Place. I don't know where they're holding it. But that also depends on what side of town they're going to do. Now, McCormick Place is much more in, I'd say, centralized downtown. The United Center is more the southwest suburbs, not the south side, but near enough to it. You'll That's going to have a lot of play in there. Is it going to be an ugly scene? I have a feeling it's going to. I don't think it's going to be as crazy as 68, but security is probably going to be insane because we all expect it, and so do they. So we'll see what happens. And then you don't know if there was a rumor running out there yesterday that Joe Biden's having second thoughts about pulling out, and that he may want to throw his hat back in the ring. And said, "Hey, I've got the delegates." Who knows who knows what happens. It's gonna be a shit show, and we're gonna enjoy watching it all fall apart because that'll be the end of the honeymoon phase. This is when you'll watch Kamala Harris just tank. So, 91 Cav GT. How do you tell when watermelons are ripe and ready to be picked off the vine? Okay, this is one I was explaining to somebody around the 4th of July. You know when you go in the grocery store and you'll see these people knocking on a watermelon? That doesn't tell you shit. Okay. The way you can tell a watermelon is ripe is when on the side that's on the ground, it's that yellowish white. That's what you're looking for. Okay. The more yellow white on there, the riper the watermelon. If it's still all green, it's going to be very dry and gray inside. You're waiting. When you look at your watermelons, if you see it's got a whitish yellow bottom, that's when you want to pull them. Lefty 825. Hey, Pinball, sitting here with my pups. How are Daphne and Copper doing? Mrs. P was going to give Copper a bath tonight. I don't know if she's she's upstairs, so she might be doing it. But pups are doing good. And Mr. and Mrs. Mountaintop perhaps watched pups while we were in Michigan for us. And apparently Daffy was very depressed to the point where for the last couple of days we were gone, she wouldn't eat or drink anything. She didn't want to play ball. That dog not wanting to play ball is, like Kamala Harris not wanting to perform oral sex. It just doesn't happen. But yeah, they're doing well. They're fine. They're still normal. It's just we felt bad for them when we got back because they were just all over us for easy a half an hour when we walked in the house. And you can't explain to the dog. It's like, hey, we'll be back in 4 days. They don't get it. So, but no, they're doing well. Kevin Little, Lisa at Sutton. Whoops. We just shot to the bottom. I don't know if I'm going to get it. Let's see if whoops. I guess I'm going to be able to find it. No, I just got to find it. Hang on. There it is. Lisa at Sutton's Days had a good one today. Check your preps now before winter. I checked our propane heaters, stoves, cook stoves, etc. Yeah, and she's right. And everybody will do it at different times. I've always gone on the idea of when you change the clocks, it's like, okay, when we change the clocks, and maybe Lisa does it, change the seasons or whatever works for you. You want to go through and change the batteries in your smoke detectors. You want to go through and check all your, start your, as I've said many times, start your gas generators. You got to run those things every once in a while. Otherwise, if there's any gas in it, it'll get gummy. If you can run it dry, even better. Okay. But then you still got to run it anyway, because otherwise you're going to start getting rust and everything like that in there. Changing your gasoline, in storage, put whatever you didn't use over the summer for the lawnmower, put it in the car and put fresh gas in there. If Lisa's going through and doing it now, great. It's just what everybody's timing is. But yeah, I'm a believer in roughly every 6 months you rotate, check everything. Okay, make sure that your canned goods are still all sealed. Uh, Look for stuff that's expired, not the best by date. Look for stuff that's expired. Check out your stored canned goods, if you will. Your ravioli or something. You see rust on a can, pitch it. Okay, go through and check that. Josh Brazil, what would be my top 5 prep items be other than food, water, medical, pew, and power? Okay. And we've gone through this, and this always gets tough because you look at it. Security of some sort, absolutely. I mean, if you can add lights in there, you add cameras in there, something, a dog, whatever it would be, something like that, something that's going to warn you ahead of time, whether it's alarms or anything. That's certainly something that needs to be in there. How do I want to put this? Instructional material. I mean, basically what I'm getting to is, books, stuff that you've feasibly downloaded, like you've got on a stick, or something, not that's on your computer. YouTube's not going to exist. You're not going to be able to go look up, how do I yada, yada, yada. You're going to already have to have that. But books, how to do things like that's going to be important. Entertainment, believe it or not, that is going to be a big prep. Okay. And you can take entertainment into many ways: board games, deck of cards, a cribbage board, pick something, a guitar, because you are going to need a break, and you are going to inevitably have kids that you're going to have to keep them occupied. Okay. And if you can sit the kids down in front of a Monopoly game or something like that and keep them occupied for an hour, that might be good. Reading material, you're going to need to keep your mind active. Otherwise, you will go nuts. Okay. You can't be 24/7 like this. You'll lose your mind. You'll get paranoid. Okay. So you need some sort of escape. That's why I say entertainment. Clothing, lots of clothing, okay, because you are going to wear it out. Socks, especially, and you can throw shoes, boots, everything like that in here. There isn't going to be a Walmart to go to or an Amazon to order or something like that when you go, gee, honey, we're out of socks. Okay. You better have extra socks. You better know how to darn socks. You better know how to sew patches on jeans. Again, I will say this a million times. If you haven't read the book 1 Second After, the first one, okay, the first one is by far the best one because it tells you what to expect. The rest of it all comes into a story, but the first one tells you this is what it's going to look like. Okay. You will get more good ideas out of the first book of what do you need. You said power. I'm going to, you're excluding power. I'm going to assume that's fuel, stuff like that. But then if I had to put a last one to it, is some sort of way to carry stuff. And this could be a litany of things: a wheelbarrow, a wagon, burlap sacks, like you carry logs in or something. I'm not talking about like potato bags. I'm talking of 2 handles and a U on there or something, because you're going to need to carry everything by hand. If you've got firewood out in the back 40, you're not going to get into the side-by-side or your 4-wheeler and go get it. It's using fuel, which you may not have. It's noisy. You're going to walk out there. And unless you plan on walking back with, 6 or 7 logs, split logs every hour, you're going to want to have something to carry it. A wheelbarrow. Now I can carry a whole bunch more, or a wagon, or burlap, or whatever. you're going to need things to move stuff. So when you're saying saving plastic bags from the grocery store, I mean, for my life, we've always just stuck them under the kitchen sink, and then you get so many of them, and eventually you throw them out. Throw some of them out, and then you run out of them. Okay, think of how many times you need something to carry it. Picking tomatoes, for example. I mean, I came in with plastic bags full of tomatoes today. I certainly wasn't going to try to carry them in my hands. So that would be, if I had to come up off the top of my head with 5, that would be it. Do I have olive trees? Joyful noise, some. No, I do not. I don't even know if olive trees would grow here. Nodak, can this republic be saved? Good question. Okay. Can it be destroyed? Very easily. Can it be saved? I don't know. We can try. That's it. I hope it can. We'll know. Let's put it this way. We'll know if there's a possibility in less than 3 months. Because if Kamala Harris wins, the republic is done. We're told. I said this a week or so ago. If she wins in 2024, there will not be an election in 2028. The country will be gone. The only way you're going to have an election at that point is if it's this group of states is electing whether or not to secede from the United States. That'd be the election in 2028. And I'm not fear-mongering. I'm dead serious. That's what I believe. Okay, that we are so close to this country breaking up. And there's a lot of me saying, let's just do it too. Okay, I don't want it violently. I'd love for it to say, you know what? New England, you go become a country. California coast, you go become a country. The blue wall, you guys want to become a country? Go ahead. And the rest of us will all be what's left of the United States. No problem. I'd love to see that just happen. Say, you know what? All you Fruit Loop Looney Tunes, go create your own country. Just don't come to us asking for anything. Telmore, there we go. What are my thoughts on hacking Trump? I saw that briefly this afternoon. I don't have a whole lot of detail on it. I guess supposedly it was Iran who, this is preliminary crap, okay? It was Iran that hacked into Trump's campaign somehow and released stuff to Politico. Then, of course, you've got the speculation that the CIA was involved. Obviously, you're going to have everybody and their mother say the Harris campaign is involved. I don't know enough about it. My big question is, who the hell's running his security? His IT security, because this is Donald Trump. I can pretty much guarantee as soon as this found out, the first 2 words out of his mouth were, "You're fired." Kitsy Witty, can you give me some advice on packing up my stuff to move to another state? What's the safest way to save breakables in my prep stuff? I mean, other than saying wrap it in newspaper, all I'm thinking is just anytime I've moved, it's just every jar is wrapped up separately. Just mounds and mounds and mounds of newspaper. Use your, this was the one that I got a kick out of when you see people pack. It's like, oh, here's all my bathroom supplies, and they take all their towels and stick them in a box. I'm like, why? Use the towel, wrap up something that's breakable. The towel's going to be there, and so is your breakable item. And trust me, when you land wherever you're going to be and you unpack everything, I guarantee you're washing all those towels anyway. You're not just taking them out of the box. They've been sitting in a box for a month and a half. Cool, let's put them in the cabinet. You're not doing that. You wash everything. So, use what you have, blankets, towels, your clothing, or whatever. It doesn't need to go on hangers, okay? It can wrap up mason jars or figurines or whatever you've got. Use it to your advantage. It will save you effort trying to find a whole bunch of newspaper. Okay, save you a mess trying to get rid of a whole bunch of newspaper and all the newsprint all over your hands. And it'll save you space because now you don't have separate boxes, one full of clothes and one full of glassware. You now have a box that's got clothes and glassware in it. I don't know. That's a weird question. I mean, it's trying to come up with an answer. That's the best I got. Inigo Montoya, thank you for the super chat. Saw a weird flying bug outside work. Said, I bet it's from another country and infesting colored hair. Told me that's racist and walked away. Yeah. Well, you know what? You're probably right because all these creatures that we have, these invasive species, I mean, stink bugs or the Asian carp, everything, all this other, all seems to wind up coming from one place, okay? Communist China. And if the blue hair, green hair, red hair, whatever said that's racist, I'd be like, and you, yeah, I'm gonna, yeah, no. I mean, the only thing I want to do with those people is bitch slap them right across the face. Yeah, I have no patience for the racist crap comments all the time, especially from somebody who doesn't have two brain cells to rub together. George's Garden. If we did have a states breakup, how will the military be divided? I can pretty much tell you it would, if we use my same example there, West Coast, Blue Wall, New England, the rest of the country. I can pretty much tell you the rest of the country would have 90% of the military because there ain't a whole lot of blue hairs, skinny jeans, soy boys joining the military. Okay. Again, I've mentioned many times, if you look at where the overwhelming majority geographically of military people come from, it's the Midwest, followed by the South, followed by the Mountain West. Those are the three biggest sectors. It ain't New England. It ain't California. Okay. Those people don't join. So there's not going to be a whole lot of people going, you know what? I live in Nebraska and I've always been conservative and I'm in the military, but you know what? I'm moving to San Francisco because they think like I do. Not happening. Okay. I have a better idea, but guillotine isn't legal anymore. We did that one. Okay. Joseph Cook, police state already here. Tulsi Gabbard on a terrorist watch list for talking about Biden and Kamala and Laura Ingraham. Actually, Tulsi Gabbard was put on the terrorist watch list more than 4 years, almost 5 years ago now. She was put on the terrorist watch list the day after she destroyed Kamala Harris on the debate stage in the 2020 DNC primaries. So, yeah, she's been there for a long time. Dawn Hill, what's the difference with field corn and sweet corn? Okay, sweet corn is what you're eating, corn on the cob. Okay, field corn is the stuff that you leave out on the corn stalks to dry. What you see. Field corn is what you see on Halloween or Thanksgiving. They're using as decorations. The corn stalks that people wrap around a lamppost or whatever. That you're leaving it to dry on the stalk. The sweet corn will rot on the stalk. Field corn is different. It will get hard. When field corn is ready, you can literally sit here and just pick the kernels off. But field corn is what you use for making cornmeal, what you use for distilling into alcohol. That's what field corn is. Sweet corn is the yellow corn or yellow and white corn or whatever you've got that, you're eating corn on the cob or canned corn, different. Okay. And then you've got dent corn. Dent corn is what you're going to use primarily for feeding animals. So, Scott McHugh, how are the fruit trees? Any more theft of fruit? Well, the peaches are gone. I looked at the pears today. The pears are getting bigger. Some are gone. Sure, some have fallen off the trees or whatever. I mean, of course, they're almost full-size pears, but they're still hard as a freaking rock. So they're not ready, but it's still early to pick pears. So Because pears are like apples. You're going to pick them in the fall. Original one shot, one kill. What about the UK? Do you think it'll escalate from here or die down? I don't know. The clip I showed you guys this morning about the idiot going that, we're going to extradite people from countries around the world and charge them in under terrorist laws in the UK. I'm like, come on, come get me. I dare you. Okay. Good freaking luck. You have no jurisdiction over anybody in the rest of the world. Now, if they get the UN involved to do it, then we have a issue, because all of a sudden, if they start yanking, let's say he specifically mentioned Elon Musk, let's say they charge Elon Musk in the International Criminal Court, kind of like they did Vladimir Putin. Okay, then now we got an issue. Okay, and that would be if you start having, if you would, our greatest ally, Great Britain, trying to persecute and prosecute American citizens. I don't know. Let's see. We had 1776. We had 1812. We may have 2024 too. Okay. So the UK managed to lose the world's respect in a month. Anybody that's got plans on visiting the UK, cancel them. That's it. Okay. I mean, they're on my fuck 'em list, and I'm sorry for my language, but that crap just pisses me off. TJ Katz, it's my first time growing sweet potatoes. Do I have to mound them like regular potatoes? No, sweet potatoes aren't even potatoes, first off. Okay. Completely different way to grow them. You don't plant when you plant a white potato, red potato, whatever, you plant the potato in the ground and it creates more potatoes. If you do that with sweet potatoes, you are getting nothing. Sweet potatoes, of course, you've got to get the slips off the potato, break the slip off, plant the slips in the ground, and then you will leave the slips, water them, fertilize them, whatever it is. They will grow into bushy plants, just like regular tomatoes or potatoes. Wait about 120, 125 days, and then you're going to go pull them up. That's it. Okay. No, you're not hilling them or doing anything like that. You don't have issues with the green with sweet potatoes. They're going to be a lot deeper, and the goofy shapes you get out of sweet potatoes. So. Prepping Mimi, thank you for the super chat. Have I ever thought about writing a book on basic prepping? No. I mean, yes, I have. I've thought about it, and it was a fleeting thought. It was like, over. Okay. I'm not a writer. I hated writing papers and I mean, did I do it? Sure. Okay. But I'm not the type of person who wants to write my thoughts down and sit there and do. I mean, I don't know how to type. I still type with 4 fingers. Okay. I'm pretty quick with 4 fingers, but I'm not do. Okay. So no, if I'm writing anything, it'd have to be handwritten. That would be faster. Could I dictate a book? Sure, that would be a possibility, but that's just not my speed. I enjoy doing it this way. I enjoy having the conversation, the talking, because it's not. I'd second guess myself. If I say something stupid right now, it's permanent. Okay, I can apologize for it. If I write something down, I'm going to go back and, no, you know what? I need to change that word. I drive myself insane. So, no. Lisa Preps, did anyone at my reunion know I had a YouTube channel or watch you subscribe? My buddy who called me in January did, because we had talked about it. He had told another friend of mine from high school who then knew about it, but it's not like I go out and advertise and nobody came up to me and said, oh, I know you. I told Mrs. P, I said, that would shock the hell out of me if I walked in and says, I know you. Fortunately, it didn't happen. I mean, I got to step away from all of this for a couple of days, and, other than like Sunday, we didn't have a video. I mean, I made the video in the morning, but before we left the hotel, but for the rest of the day, I was like, okay. Now, a few people said, hey, I'm in this area, I'm in that area. Do you have time to get together? No. Okay. I mean, I was there for a specific purpose to meet some people, meet some old friends, see what happened to them, say my bid my fair adieu to Michigan, and that was it. Okay. Uh, yes, there's many times I want to get out of this persona, okay, and just be me. I don't live, eat, sleep, breathe prepping 24/7. I like to do something else with friends or whatever it is too. Okay. Does this consume a lot of my time? Yes. Okay. But is it all of my time? No, I do have a life. New York budget prepper. My bush beans are growing at different times. How can I store them so I can have a bunch to make at the same time? Uh, okay, I, I guess I don't know how you are you trying to do this. I mean, I'm guessing you're not growing them for dried beans, and that's what I'm doing with my bush beans. So it's like when they get brown, they go on the drying rack in the garage, and they sit out there for a week until I decide to go out and shell them. That's it. Okay. If you're talking about green beans, which I have a tendency to think you are, what you probably want to do is, break them, break the tips, do whatever it is, and freeze them. And then when you have more, and if you're going to can them or whatever it is, you can take them out of the freezer, thaw them out, okay, and then run them through your canning process. That would be my bet. That's what I'm assuming you're asking. Stephanie Seabolt, 5 years after, was probably the slowest one for me to get through out of the four. Yeah, they get slower as you go. The first one is still the Bible of prepping. Let's put it that way. That's the one. If there's any prepper who has not read that book, you are so far behind the curve. You will read that book and go, "Holy crap! There's so much I didn't think about." You know, reading that book changes people's complete outlook on life. Red Raider Reloading. Being a noob gardener, what is the best fertilizer to put down in the fall for the upcoming year? Well, there really isn't any, okay? Because your fertilizer is only going to last so long. When you're going to put your fertilizer down is in the spring. I mean, unless of course you're planting fall crops or winter crops, which, there's plenty of things you can grow over the winter too, again, depending on your climate. If you've got winter crops, it's going to be specific to what you're trying to grow. What you're best off putting down in the fall is as much organic material as you can into the garden. Your grass clippings, your shredded leaves, anything like that that you can do. And just make a huge blanket over the soil. Because over the winter, if you get snow, if you get rain, if you get ice or whatever, that is all going to start breaking down into your soil. And by spring, when you start mixing that into the soil, you've now created a fabulous soil that at that point, then you are adding whatever the appropriate fertilizer is. And the reason I say appropriate is because different plants have different things. Some people may say, oh, I put 10-10-10 down or triple 13 where that's great. But if you're growing corn, for example, you don't need that. You need nitrogen because it doesn't need any phosphorus or potassium. It's a grass. Okay, so, okay. We're going to have another conversation. Stop with the texts. Rambet, do we have a general code to use at Wellbots? I want to order that lion cooler. No, we don't. There isn't. When I mention what the specials are, they are usually for a few days, maybe a week. It's not like we just get an automatic discount all the time. It's at that particular point. So, like the lion cooler now is, I mean, could Elliot have it on special again here in a month? Maybe. I don't know. But it all depends on what they get in the way of volume. So we'll skip Robert's question. Let's see. Margaret Pritchett, any tips on unaliving pocket gophers? Got a 22? That would be the way to do it. Okay. Get a little target practice while you're at it. If anything, get yourself an air rifle. Those aren't that expensive. You can probably pick up a decent one for about $200, and you can pop them with that, and nobody's going to have a problem whatsoever with you getting rid of some gophers. William Yaremchuk, can I recommend a good brand of window film that keeps window glass from being broken easily? I'm seeing mixed reviews. Go with 3M. Okay. Don't mess. I know people have issues with 3M for their political crap and stuff like that. I get it. Okay. But go with 3M. In the kitchen with Grandma CC, Mr. P, did you ever figure out what ate my peaches on the top? Do not have a clue. Like I said, neighbors had the same problem. None of us knew it. For all we know, it was aliens. Country Humans Network, where do you buy these t-shirts? People up here probably freak out, especially with the Trump shirts. I don't remember where I got this one. I mean, yes, I have some wild t-shirts, okay. But I will see them in, I mean, there's one I got in the vape shop. There's one I got when I had my bed liner put in my truck. It's just you're depending on where you are and where you find them mostly are where you have a strong conservative base. Okay. Guys who are modifying trucks are not normally soy boy, skinny jeans wearing Justin Trudeau supporting liberals. These are the guys that are running around figuring out how to, modify their smart car. But yeah. Swithers 00, Mr. P, if you were partnering with 3 other relatives to buy acreage to create a family compound, how many acres would you recommend? Approximately 20 people. Okay. All right, 20 people's a lot. So you are you're talking about, I'm guessing, building multiple residences on this. If you're going to do something like that, you can be strategic from the beginning. Would be corner, 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 corner. Okay, would be your responsibility is to protect the southeast corner. Yours is to protect the northeast corner. Yada, and you build around that, and then the central area is the community, if you will. That's where you have your animals or have your gardens or a combination of both, whatever. I mean, that's not a bad problem to have. 20 people, I'm guessing you're probably talking 4 to 5 families. So how you guys do all that, I don't know. To feed that many people, and again, if you're talking about being in the woods of Maine or the plains of Kansas, is going to be different too. What you really need to figure out is how much food do you need to generate to feed 20 people, okay? And if the average person eats 2,000 pounds of food a year and you got 20 people, do the math, okay? You need to generate 40,000 pounds of food a year. A year, 40,000 pounds. That's a whole lot of cows, pigs, chickens, planting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Can it be done with 20 people? Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot easier than it would be for 2 people to come up with 4,000 pounds because you've got more hands on deck to do things. If you that many people, I'd probably try to find 40 or 50 acres if you could. That if you could, that would be it. I mean, again, we're talking money, but yes, my opinion. That's what I'd probably look to find 40 or 50 acres at least. Quasar 22, hey Pinball, my favorite AR is the Smith & Wesson 15 Sporter 2, and it's in the price range you mentioned. It's a solid choice. Do you have an affinity for the S&W AR? No, actually, the ones I have are 2 Rugers, and the 2 one I got were 2 Radicals. Mrs. P's got a Smith & Wesson M&P, and I've got a Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. So the only Smith & Wesson products I have are a couple of pistols. Let's see. Original One Shot, One Kill. I was 7 years old in 1968, and we were on the Mississippi coast during Hurricane Camille. That's all I remember about 1968. I was 2, but I was living in Chicago. I don't remember anything about it, but yes, I know the stories because I spent half my childhood there, or 2/3 of my childhood. Foxenny just finished the Collapse series by Kyla Stone. Fantastic series, excellent storyteller with skills being taught in the process. 7 books. Okay, another one I've never heard of. Red Raider Reloading just bought an AR-10 and 6.5 Creedmoor. That good purchase. Okay, good thing to have. It's one thing I do not have is anything in 6.5 Creedmoor. But I do try to keep my calibers restricted so I don't have to have 82 different kinds of ammunition running around the house. JS, my daughter, I'm trying to rush because I know we're at the end. My daughter just called me because her CO detector just went off. I don't know who she should call. Any advice? Fire department. Okay. Yeah, that's who you call. Fire department for that. Love peacocks and raccoons. Are you going to watch the DNC? No, I think I'm going to stomach myself through the news clips of it because there is no freaking way I want to listen to a bunch of morons talk for 4 or 5 hours a night. Rick's Corner. Hey, Pinball, what's your thoughts on what the Democrats are going to do with all the illegals after November 5th? They're going to keep inviting them in. I mean, this, as much as everybody says this isn't true, it's the great replacement theory, okay? And if you remember, if you go back to Barack Obama, 2008, he said specifically that his goal was to make the United States a brown nation. I'm just saying, okay? This is a plan. This is not something that Joe Biden cooked up. I mean, Joe Biden can't figure out how to boil water. Don't ask him to come up with a recipe to destroy the country. TJ Katz, how do I keep fire ants off my okra? No, you let them eat it, okay? I mean, that's fine. If they're going after the okra, that's great. That means they're not going after crops that are worth growing. Right, Robert? Okay, Terry Palazzo, DNC, the United Center and McCormick. Okay, so I picked the 2 places I thought it could be, and it's in both of them. All right, that would do it. Jay Myers, did you hear about the emergency landing on Trump's plane saying a hydraulic line was the problem? Oh, yeah, yesterday. As I made the comment on Twitter, I said, Trump's going to need to hire a food tester because how do you cannot tell me that every time, I mean, first off, let's think about who this is, okay? Not only the fact that he's an ex-president, not only the fact that he's a presidential candidate, we're talking one of the richest guys in the world, okay? You can't tell me that his plane isn't inspected after every flight to make sure everything's in working order. So you start to lean toward sabotage. And that's complete speculation on my part, but see, 3 weeks ago, the guy was shot at, now he's got plane problems. The Secret Service said they expect another attack on him before the election. Let's start thinking about this. How do you know when cantaloupe are ready to pick? When they turn completely tan, and that skin gets that real crackly look to it. That's when when it's still kind of smooth, no, but you want to look for those ribs and that crackly look of the skin. Oh crap, we just shot to the bottom. All right, I got 1 minute. I'm just going to try to find something here. Okay, Bullet Junkie, willfully ignorant does not protect you from the devil or the Lord. Playing stupid to what's going on only works. Okay, I have no idea what you're talking about. Dawn Barb, how can I keep my potatoes that I harvested from turning green? The reason they're turning green is because they've been exposed to the sun. So what you want to do is get those, when you pick those potatoes, you want to get them in the garage, in the barn, in the shed, somewhere. I showed you how to make that drying rack a couple of months ago. Something like that, even if it's on the kitchen table, somewhere that they're not going to be exposed to sunlight, and let those skins harden. Then they'll be okay, but you need to let them cure for about 10 days. So, and I'm out of breath. Okay. All right, guys, that's 10 o'clock. We will see you all in the morning. Have a good one. Pinball out.